Well, hello everyone, and welcome to the Tech Chit Chat Show. If you're new here, my name is Ken. You can find me on Northern Viking every day and Northern Viking Explorer on YouTube. I am here with my co-host Stephen Loney on YouTube and 8-Bit Warrior on Twitter. Today we have an amazing show for you. Well, we think it's amazing anyhow. We are going to be talking about EA closing some of their gaming servers, the new PlayStation controller that you are not going to want to miss out on, the Discord update with some new features, Netflix, the Pixel Pro camera, which has some really cool features in it as well. So that's what we're going to be talking about today. If you are watching on the replay, Stephen will be putting timestamps in YouTube so you can jump ahead to any of those areas that you're wanting to listen to or watch. Wow. How are you today, Stephen?
I'm doing very well, Ken. Thank you. And how are you this fine Tuesday morning?
I am doing really good, thank you. Other than they just pulled up with a big chipper truck and some chainsaws, and they're cutting down some trees next door, and it's garbage day. So it's good. I've turned on RTX voice or broadcast, whatever it's called, NVIDIA broadcast. So hopefully that cuts out some of the noise. So we have some viewers today. Hello, Thomas. You're supposed to be in school. Hello, Cody.
Hello, Cody.
Welcome, you guys.
Glad you're here.
Yeah. So how was your weekend?
Had a good weekend. It was busy. I was finishing up a programming game project for a competition that I was actually working on with Cody, who just piped in. He was doing the graphics for it.
Yeah, Cody.
Coding. So we were just finishing that up this weekend for a competition for a mobile game competition on the gx.games website, which is run by Opera GX. So that's been a thing. Got that finished up, and
so I had a chance to play it yesterday.
Yeah, it's kind of like Frogger / Crossy Road.
Yeah, it was Frogger style. It was actually a lot of fun. So
yeah,
pretty cool little game.
Mm-hmm.
So
how about yourself?
So well, the weather's been really nice, so I decided to do some yard work while I could still do that in shorts and a t-shirt rather than bundling up. So I did yard work, went for some walks and things. So enjoyed the weather for sure. So
well, cheers.
20+ degrees. Yes, cheers.
Cheers to you. Boop. Anybody else out there drinking coffee or tea this morning? Do you take cream in your sugar?
Or graham cracker Pepsi.
Or graham cracker. It's hard to say for some reason.
So if this is your first time joining us, actually, Stephen and I have gone for coffee for years and talked about tech and coffee shops. And then we decided, hey, why don't we start doing this as a live stream, talk about tech? We don't claim to know everything, but we try to give you the information that we have and share with you some of our thoughts on tech and what's trending. Cody has tea.
Hey. Tea morning. Well, cheers. Uh-oh. Cheers to Cody.
Cheers to Cody. I guess you can join us, but I'm more of a coffee person. Actually, I probably have a cup of tea every day, but more so something non-caffeinated in the afternoon, evening, like a peppermint or something.
Ooh, can we start a tea channel? Can we talk about tea?
Okay. What kind of you made tea for me once and it turned into a disaster?
Oh, it was awful. So if you, because the plan was to have a peppermint tea, like you said, and to put like, was it cream in it? Was that, yeah, like you can put a dash of cream into your tea and it's fine. Like that, or what was it? I forget what it was.
No, it was like some like curry tea or something.
Yeah. So we didn't have that though. So we backed up to this curry tea. And well, we'll try it, but it curdled. The milk curdles in the curry tea. It was so nasty. Thankfully, you actually trusted me the next time to make you a tea, and it worked out. But
because it was like chunks of cheese floating to the top of your tea. It was nasty.
Curry tea and milk do not go together. Do not do those things. That was a learning experience for the both of us. Okay.
Yes, not to trust you with my beverages.
And it was great because I think you even tried it. You're like even trying to drink it, and we're like, we can't do it.
Awesome. Yeah. All right. Well, let's dive into some stuff here. There's a lot of Techtober. I think people call it Techtober. Anyway, I call it Techtober. There's a lot of tech stuff going on this month. Some of them we're not touching on just because there's not we might not have interest, or maybe the story's already kind of getting old. So we have a few that we want to touch on today. The first one being EA, and EA is closing some online servers for some of their games, including Mirror's Edge and Onrush and more.
Yes.
This is pretty big. Some of them are for Xbox 360. Some of them are for the PS3,
which I found kind of impressive. Being like, wow, okay, there's still PS3, Xbox 360 games still going online out there, which is cool.
Yeah. So a couple of them. So there's a few dates. So October 20th, there's Army of Two and the Devil's Cartel, or is that the Army of Two and the 40th Day? Sorry, which are both Army of Two games. This is October 20th. November 9th, there's Mercenaries 2, some of the Command and Conquer games, so Red Alert 3 and Tribarium Wars, and Kane's Wrath on Xbox 360 is November 9th. And then November 30th is Mirror's Edge, NBA Jam on Fire.
Oh no.
Gatling Gears and Shank 2. And then sorry, I think I have some of the dates there wrong. Onrush is November 30th, and those other ones are January 19th. So definitely some games shutting down there. What are your thoughts on this, Stephen?
Again, it's kind of interesting to see this for like PS3 and Xbox 360 era. Like, hey, I kind of would have thought they already had the servers down. So this is kind of a surprise to me for these games specifically. The more recent one, though, is that Onrush was released apparently in 2018.
Okay.
So that looks like that was a PS4 game. So that one actually is still kind of a more recent thing that they're actually taking down. But I don't think Onrush actually did too well. So apologies to anyone out there who actually plays Onrush. We tried playing it because we were into the MotorStorm games, and this was from some of the same developers as MotorStorm. But it wasn't the same. I know that I didn't enjoy it. I don't think you did either. So I think that one's just due to not popular.
Yeah. I believe this article was talking about when they see levels of 1% of like where it was at peak, it's hard to
justify keeping it around.
Justify keeping it around for employees to run it, as well as the costs for the servers and keeping it up and running. So you can see that when it's that small of a group playing it, for sure.
Now, there was a game, Cody, if you're listening, there was a game that's been around a long time. It's an online game. And I think the team has said that they're going to continue to support it. It's like one guy will go in and make sure that the game keeps going, like all these years later. I forget what it is now. Cody, if you're there, remind me what that is. But there are some older games that companies can manage to like keep up and running and going. Like it's just a matter of...
And there are some of those older games, like we played a lot of them on the PS3, that people are still like, it's not like it was back in the heyday, but there's still a lot of people playing some of those games.
I remember what it was. It's an MMORPG. What was it called? But there was a sequel, right? So there was a sequel, and that one's been maintained, but people are still playing the first one. And the developer said they're still going to keep that first one going, even if there's just a few people playing. It's just like so low maintenance that they've been like, no, we're just going to keep it going for those who still want to play it. But for EA,
I'm assuming the Battlefield servers are still up.
I think so. Yeah,
I think so. So that like for PS3, and I'm not sure about Xbox, but even like the 1940, what was it called? 1943, the one that you had to download, you can buy it on disc.
I think that's still going.
I think it is too. And there's actually people playing it. So.
And interestingly, that one didn't get mentioned in this cut. So
that's what I'm saying. There's clearly more than 1% of people still playing it.
Yeah, or I think the community around that game is very intense, I think there actually is a strong kind of cult following for that game. And I
Yeah.
think EA, I feel like they know they'd get some backlash if they try to take it down.
That was honestly that was one of my favorite games from the PS3 was the Battlefield 9. I think it was 1943 or
Yeah.
1940. Yeah.
Yeah.
So there was only 3 maps, I believe, and you'd kind of
Right.
swap sides.
3 maps, 3 classes.
Yeah, it was super basic, but
Yeah.
that's what made it good. And
Yeah. I know a younger brother of mine, he's continued to play it. Maybe not the last year, but he was playing it long after most people left. And I think there was like a strong community for at least like one full room to keep going. And there was like this group of regulars, and they're like very good, and they take it very serious. And it's like this dying game, but it's still very well, I think, liked by a certain group of people.
Yeah.
So any
I wish there,
didn't take it
I
down.
honestly wish there was a remake of that.
Yeah,
game.
just bring it back.
Yeah. Yeah. Just some of these games you play them and there's like I like all the levels, but sometimes if you don't have a lot of time, you have to play the levels to understand the layout, and it takes quite a while if you don't have a lot of time on your hands. So just having three good levels that you can get good at is kind of nice.
Sometimes having too many maps and too many modes can divide the community and disperse it, where it's better to have more focus with that.
Well, modes is a bad, like I like a couple different modes, but when you've got some of these games have 10 different modes and it divides the community up and you can't find a good game of the mode you actually want to play. And I think that's one of the drawbacks of the new Battlefield that I was playing.
I was just discussing that with Cody, actually, who's watching, is because we're working on games together and we're potentially working on a multiplayer game together. And we realize, okay, if we do that, we want to focus on one good mode and maybe a second, but not add more because we don't want to divide for that very reason. You want to have a strong core that actually plays your game and finds each other. So
I noticed you'd mentioned Guild Wars. Was that?
Yeah, that was the one
game you were talking.
Yeah, so it's you buy it once and you play online, like this questing game and stuff. The first one's quite old now, but the developer of it, I forget their name, but they're like, apparently they're gonna keep it going. It's so low work for them to do it. It's fine. But so for EA, it makes more sense for them not to keep stuff around. They're such a big company that things can get lost. Like it's just, they need to clean the house a bit. They're such a big group. Unless you have some developer, I mean, it might be one of the reasons that Battlefield 1943 is not getting cut server. There might be a developer at EA who's like, no, I'm going to personally take care of that myself.
Yeah.
There may be employees that take it upon themselves to make sure it stays open. And if there's no developer to advocate for some of these servers, those ones may die. As soon as no one cares in the company anymore, that might be when things get cut. But as long as one person is like, I'll restart the server, I'll make sure it's up, that might be enough to keep it going.
No, for sure. Yeah. It's probably his favorite game and he's like running it in his spare time.
Well, he may have been the one who was the designer of it. He may have been one of the lead programmers, and he's actually like, no, I want to see that keep living. And it's like 5 minutes out of his month to make sure it keeps going, right? So anyways, that's
interesting. We'll see what happens if they shut down more of them and how long it takes. But for now, those ones are the ones that are going.
What I also didn't see was one of your favorites, NHL 3-on-3 hockey.
Oh, that is one of my favorite games. But again, it's just back to the same thing. It's an EA game. It's super simple, kind of like Battlefield 1943. Yeah. They took the NHL game and incorporated all that and made it like bubble hockey with like for kids, but it's just fun and it's super simple and definitely one of my favorites for sure. Yeah. I'm not sure what Thomas is talking about here. You know what this is?
I do.
What's he referring to?
Peggle is a much more like casual. I never played it, but it's if I'm correct, it's kind of like a dropping game.
Okay.
Anyways, it's a more casual game, but Peggle lives.
Is that an EA game?
I think EA owns the rights to it now, but I could be wrong.
Okay.
Thomas might be right about that.
Yeah.
When is Thomas wrong? So
Yeah, that's true. So this morning, Thomas sent me an article about a new controller that's launching. The DualSense Edge wireless controller for PS5 launches globally on January 26th. So if you have a PS5, this might be right up your alley. It's actually a really cool controller. So it's expensive. It's
right.
$200 or 199 US, but it's like they're super. Let's call it. I don't know what to call it. Super duper pro controller, where you can swap out the um, thumb joysticks to different sizes. You can do customizations to buttons. You can do like
Back buttons.
back buttons. You can, and then you can customize what those back buttons do.
I think you can change the haptic feedback. I think you can customize the range and stuff like that.
Yeah, there's that. There's you can control like dead spots. You can do all sorts of cool stuff. There is a video on it.
Yeah.
So you can find that in the link in the description over on YouTube. So it's called the DualSense Edge wireless controller. So you can get it on January the 26th. And pre-orders begin on October 25th.
Right.
So it's pretty cool controller. If you're into PlayStation, this might be something that you should check out. So comes with a braided cable, 2 standard caps, 2 high-end dome caps. So if you need raised ones, or they have 2 low ones, 2 half dome back buttons, 2 lever back buttons, a connector housing, and a carrying case. So you can walk around with your controller.
Looks so cool. Now, if I'm correct, this supports remapping, so you can remap all your buttons on the controller, or most of them.
Yeah, I don't know. I watched the video. I don't know if it's all the buttons.
Yeah.
The video part showed it on the back buttons.
Right.
But I don't know if it's the front buttons as well. But
yeah, that's what I'd be curious to know, is how far can you remap things? What is this? Is the whole thing that can be remapped, or
and is it, how much can you remap? Like, is it all the buttons available for remapping, or is it just square, triangle, circle, and X? Or
even that would be cool. Back buttons with those would be pretty good.
It looks really sleek. Like, Sony did a good job. Like, honestly, the case looks like a PS5 kind of.
I'm just reaching here. So Sony, I think, has never made a bad controller. I even have like the original OG PS1 controller here, and this thing is still like it feels solid. Like even the cable. So I'm just saying the build quality from Sony, even the that won't show up, but the cable is like really thick and sturdy, and even after like 25-30 years, this console still feels like mint. So their build quality controllers has always been, I think, like really, really good through the years.
Yeah.
So
I'm pretty sure I have a couple of PS1 controllers kicking around as well,
and they still feel like as good as they were new, pretty much. Like, I'm impressed. Not that Nintendo controllers are bad; like, they're pretty good too, but the Sony ones just had the sturdiness that just seems like you can like throw them across the room, and they're pretty good. Although I have some broken PS4 ones, but I think a dog chewed on those. Anyways, dog chewing is a whole different story.
I did go. I know I went through a couple of PS3 ones for sure.
That's true. The PS3 ones didn't seem as sturdy, I think, as the PS1, PS2.
Like, they were the early ones. I'm trying to remember. Did the first PS3 controllers not have like the vibration in them?
Right. The first ones did not.
I think I went through a couple of those ones, and then when they got the vibration in them,
it seemed better at that point.
It seemed better. I don't know. And it could have just been mine, but
the issue with the PS3 controllers was the charging mechanic was finicky. After like a few years of it doesn't want to charge anymore, and such a like problem.
Yeah. But better than a lot of those aftermarket controllers.
Well, yeah, and I feel like that was a product of that era as well. Like, they were moving to wireless controllers, and I feel like it was kind of a rough spot. But even the PS4 controllers I have are having trouble charging as well.
Okay.
And actually, that goes back to like the USB-C thing we talked about last week being standard. That might be where USB-C is nice to have because it's actually a reliable charging mechanism that doesn't fail.
Well,
anyways,
you're not putting it in. You don't put it in upside down, so.
Well, yeah, yeah. It just, yeah. So other than that, Sony has built generally good controllers, pretty solid. So especially if this is a $200 controller for US, that shouldn't be cheap.
Yeah, no, for sure. And I think it'll be interesting to see how it does. There'll definitely be a few kids who want that on their Christmas list, even though it's not out for Christmas, but maybe they can get a pre-order for Christmas. So
I'm still a little surprised they don't have a Sony controller with the touchpad. That's like a screen. I'm surprised they still don't sell one that does that for select, like, I don't know. I just feel like they're missing something that they could do something really cool with that.
Yeah, next gen, PS6.
I don't know. I just think they're missing something. I'm flashing back to the Wii U, and I kind of miss some of the stuff you could do with that.
My background just restarted. So
does that mean go to the next topic?
That means go to the next topic. All right. So let's dive into the next one, which is Discord. So Discord had a whole bunch of updates happen recently, and including a new basic nitro or basic tier for a paid service. So pretty interesting stuff here. So there's a couple things we're going to talk about. Let's talk about the basic tier and that, and then I think you were going to mention maybe some of the other features. We're not going to go too in depth in that. So the new basic tier, so Discord, it adds activities, app directory, and cheaper Nitro subscription. So
yes,
one of the things that I noticed here, let me pop this up because this is a screenshot of the Nitro basic. Because you and I use Discord for planning this show, actually.
We do.
And on the Nitro Basic, it has a 50 megabyte file sharing, which actually would be very useful.
Yeah, because the default is 8 megabytes for free.
Yeah, something like that. So how many times, I feel like quite often I go to share something and it's too big.
Yeah, you're trying.
So,
and yeah, agreed. I mean, I know we can transfer through other ways, and we can like use Google Drive or something or transfer it that way. But it is convenient to just use that the social tool that we're using to just transfer stuff. And usually stuff is within like 50 megabytes. But yeah, you have that file that's 9 megabytes and it just won't transfer.
Yeah.
And it's like, and now you have to go to Google Drive and you got to put it up on there, and then you got to send the link to it.
Like there's definitely a lot more perks in the Nitro, but you do get custom emojis, and you can make them animated in the Nitro Basic. Custom stickers anywhere, plus 300 plus Nitro exclusives. Again, that 50 megabyte file sharing, Nitro badge on profile, and a custom video background.
Now the custom video background, is that like the cutout? You do the cutout of the background, I think. You can set your own.
Yeah, probably.
Green screen effect.
Like a green screen effect. Don't quote us on that, but we think that's what it is. So
what else would it be?
So that that's a good question. So the pricing on that, I believe, was $299 a month. So significantly cheaper than I think there's Nitro. Is there a Nitro Classic and a Nitro Regular? So Nitro Classic, I think, is $499, and Nitro Regular is $999, I believe. I could be wrong on that. But yeah, thoughts? Any other thoughts on that? Or
I really like Discord's business model from the get-go. I'm glad that they've released an update and there is not ads being pushed anywhere. It's like, hey, they're keeping their platform clean, and they seem to know what their users want, and they seem to be like, let's do that. So this tier, because one of the things that I've wanted I'm not a subscriber to Discord, but this is something that I I've considered before mainly for the bigger file sizes. So now they're getting I'm on the radar now to get this because I didn't want to spend $4.99 or $10 a month for the bigger file size, but $2.99 actually get me in there.
It might actually be worth it if it's functional.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I guess the other thing we were going to chat about quickly was some of the other features.
Yeah. So what I like what they're doing is they have the support for favorite apps through they have like the new app directory. So apparently other people may already know about this. It would have been called like bots, Discord bots that you can add to your servers, your server channels. And people have already been using them, but you have to like go around the web and find them and download them and put them and tie them into your Discord. So now they're basically packaging that inside of Discord. So instead of having to go look for these bots or apps, you can find them inside Discord easily, and you can add them to your server. And these may be things that I do, like slash commands to do different kinds of things with Discord that you can't do with vanilla Discord.
It's like polls and things like that, right?
Polls and just like these different, it could be moderation tools. It could be something that could pull up articles from a website. You can do slash something, and maybe it would try to pull information from a website, and just more custom.
Yeah. And they're not bad bots. These are like just tools to help you out, and not like the bad term of bot where we're like, oh, that's a bad thing. It's buying up all our movie tickets before we can get them.
And I think that's why they didn't. I think that's why they didn't use the term bot, even though it's common already with Discord users. I think they wanted to stay away from that bad impression that you just said. It's like the app directory. And they also have, which I like, for select developers, they are support for favorite apps through premium app subscriptions. So people who have premium apps can actually sell them. And so they're actually supporting developers to actually make money through their Discord platform. It just seems
that's a cool option.
healthy.
It just seems like, something like that maybe would interest you in the future. If there's something there that you come up with an idea and it would help a lot of people out, that would be.
Discord's continued to be like ad-free and actually seems healthy and actually using real money to support themselves and potentially other developers to actually have a healthy ecosystem and not rely on things that we don't want to see in their platform.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
And
that's cool.
Also mention here, which is pretty cool. For free users, they have the activities. So for free users, you can play. There was one game you can play together. I forget what it was now, but there's one game that you can play together, but they also have you can share watching like YouTube videos at the same time. So there's like a rocket ship icon or something button that you can click, and it'll sync up your YouTube videos with your friends, so you can like watch them at the same time, rather than trying it just links them up. So it allows for just better hanging out with friends, watching YouTube videos, or playing a game. Putt Party. Yeah, free Discord. You have Putt Party. So I'm guessing that's like a little putt mini golf game, which I actually kind of might want to play with you. So don't be surprised if you get an invite for Putt Party from me.
All right.
But there's more games for those who have like a paid subscription. But if your friend has like the full Nitro, he can invite you, a free user, and you can come join him. So as they describe it, it's like your cool friend who has all the board games and brings them over to your place. So you can still play with your Nitro buddies, even if you don't have a paid subscription, if they invite you in. Seems good. Seems healthy. Discord just another plus in their books.
Yeah, no, it's cool. Thomas, is there a zoo golf level?
Well, when I saw Putt Party, I was hoping it was like putt. Thomas would know what I mean by that. Thomas, go for some putt party. It'd be good.
Yeah. No. So, is it like it's not like a VR type or a virtual area like the PlayStation Home?
No, I feel like this is like a better version of the late 90s, early 2000s online community.
Okay.
There was like the zone.com from MSN, and I just feel like this is an expansion of what was early online social MSN days.
Yeah.
of that era of where stuff was going. It feels like it's coming back. So it's not
Yeah.
VR, it's not meta, it's just actually I want to hang out with friends playing checkers or playing putt golf. And so it just seems good.
Yeah. No, I'm excited to see where that goes. So
Yeah.
cool. Our next thing, so Netflix with ads. Interesting. So if you're finding Netflix too expensive, there's a new tier coming where you can actually watch ads to get it for cheaper. So there's going to be your tiers they already have, and then they're launching a cheaper tier. So this will be up to 5 minutes of ads per hour, 4 to 5 minutes, I believe, per hour. So pre-roll and mid-roll, so more like watching television. But you'll get access to all of the content. So apparently they're not cutting it back. But you will have to watch ads. Now, that being said, you won't get like 4K and all that. I believe it was 720p. Yeah. So in the US, it's going to be $7 a month for that. I believe it was actually cheaper here in Canada. $6 a month in Canada. So we're actually getting it a couple days before the US here in Canada. Where were the dates? November 1st for Canada and Mexico, November 3rd for the US, Australia, Brazil, France, Germany, Italy, Japan, South Korea, and the UK, and November 10th in Spain.
Right.
I don't mind this, actually. Most of the streaming services offer something similar.
Yeah.
When Netflix was the only streaming service out there that anybody really had back in the day, it like $20 a month, or it wasn't $20 at the time, but when it was, I don't know, $9 or whatever, it didn't seem that expensive. But when there's multiple streaming services that you might be paying into, and the price went up to $20, all of a sudden gets expensive. So a lot of people switched to Netflix. They canceled their cable and went to Netflix because it was a cheaper option. It was only $10 a month. But then all of a sudden you're paying for Disney, you're paying for Prime, you might be paying for whatever, Hulu or Paramount or whatever. And all of a sudden now you're paying more than you ever did for cable that way back in the day because it's all streaming. So it's not like the cord cutting thing is kind of not, you have to look for other options if you're doing the cord cutting thing. And this is starting to become an expensive service for sure.
Right.
So
Thomas was asking if it supports downloads. It does not.
No, it does not. Yeah.
That's only for the $15 and $20 a month tiers, I think. If I'm correct.
Yeah. So it's one of those things, if you just feel like you're missing out and you can't afford it, I think it's a good option. I don't know. We don't have Netflix. We haven't for probably since last Christmas, maybe. I can't remember when. We have Disney right now, I believe, and Prime. And we have cable as well, but we pay next to nothing with that because they throw it in with our internet for probably the same price as Netflix. And on our cable, though, we have we can stream TV, we can stream hundreds of movies, probably way more movies than are on Netflix. We can stream on our TV box, pretty much anything, including all the movie channels that has been on TV in the last couple months. I can actually stream on our TV, on my phone. I can watch live, sports, everything. So we still have cable, but I know that's not for everyone.
Yeah. So do you think then that all of these competing online video services have actually brought down the cost of cable then at home? Do you think it's? Oh,
I think for sure. Yeah. It's become a thing where they throw it in as a bundle for cheaper. Maybe not for everyone where we live. I think it's a thing.
So the irony is that now cable is becoming the more reasonable option again.
I had someone tell me, but like they were talking about cable and how you don't get all the streaming stuff, and I'm like, when we go to watch a movie, it's more than likely off of the streaming off of our cable box because there's hundreds of movies, TV shows,
Yeah.
any show we missed, you can just stream it on there. You don't even need to use the PVR anymore. So I don't know. I like we do sign up for Netflix every now and then and binge the content we want to watch.
Yeah.
But there's not as much as there used to be on there
No.
anymore either. So
No.
how about you? Do you guys still have Netflix, I believe?
We do, but there's only like one show on there that I actually care for. You would never guess what it is.
Dirty Jobs.
No.
I don't know.
Fireman Sam. It's a
Right.
kid show, and I'll watch with my niece, and that's it. It's the only thing I care is just a show with
Yeah.
my niece because it's the only one that has like all full episodes. And so, like for me, Netflix, I don't even care for it. It's like there's just
Yeah.
one purpose for it, and it's just to watch a certain show with a family member.
Yeah.
There's
I honestly think like this summer when there wasn't really much to watch, we binged a bunch of stuff off of Prime. But like we'll sign up for it probably if there's nothing to watch or do, like maybe for a month or two. But
yeah,
I don't think it's something I would ever pay for again on a permanent basis. Just there's too many options for shows, and that's nothing against the next person might find a ton of stuff they like on there. So
well, Thomas mentioned Lost in Space. I have watched quite a bit of that on there. That's a well done production. So I haven't watched the more recent stuff, but yeah, I've seen that. So
I think that
I can't think much else.
I don't have an article on this, but there's been a lot of talk about cracking down on Netflix sharing as well.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I know a lot of people who they share their passwords with their cousin, and then they all throw in a few bucks, or one pays for Disney, one pays for Netflix or whatever, and they all share the passwords. That's a common thing that goes on out there, and I think Netflix is trying to crack down on that as well. So
yeah,
I don't know all the specifics to that. So
yeah,
because in the past, I think that I don't want to say encouraged it, but didn't
discourage
care.
it.
They didn't discourage it either. So
yeah.
So yeah, we'll see where Netflix goes with this. I mean, it's a good service if the content you like is on there. But if you have 3 or 4 of these, it gets pretty pricey. So
yeah.
All right. Pixel 7 Pro camera.
Yes. So apparently you got one of those, did you not?
I did. I got it last week. I got the Pixel 7 Pro in the 256 gigabyte version. So I was using a Samsung phone. I got this one instead. Now, I'm really happy with the camera on this. I mean, the phone itself, you start playing with it, it's a phone. Like phones now, there's not a big difference in them. It's super fast with the 120 hertz display. It's got 12 gigs of RAM. It just, the whole phone is phenomenal. Really happy with it. But we wanted to talk about the camera today on this phone because it's actually pretty cool. It's got the G2 tensor chip in this phone, and the AI processing on it, I think, is phenomenal on it. And I showed you a couple of samples, and I've got some samples that you'll be able to see here shortly as well. If you're watching on YouTube or on one of the video casts, sorry about you if you're on the podcast. But let's pull this up. So this gentleman, what's his name here? Stephen Shankland did this article for CNET, and it says, I spent $10,000 on a DSLR camera gear, but you can just buy a Pixel 7 Pro.
Right.
And I don't think he's saying that the DSLR is worse. But I think what he's trying to say is for the average user, the Pixel 7 Pro might be more than enough for you.
Especially in comparison in cost. How much did the phone cost?
So they start, I believe, I want to say $8.99 US or Canadian. I think it's $8.99 US. Don't quote me on that. So just depending on the model you get, so they have different storage sizes and whatnot. So this is the 7 Pro, but they also have the 7 that will have some of the features, not all of them that we're going through today. So you can check that out. But he's talking about all his camera gear, and the $10,000 is for all his lenses, the camera, and everything like that. But some of the photography that he's doing, like, it's pretty amazing when you start to look at some of the samples between. You can do the slider, and
so the left side, if you see the screen, the left side is
this is the Pixel 7 here,
and the right side is the Canon
5D Mark IV,
and in fact, if you're watching our stream, you probably may not be able to even notice when Ken slides back and forth the difference in detail with the resolution we're at here. Like,
yeah, it's really hard to tell. So
yeah,
and I'll show you in a moment like how the AI works once you've taken a picture. But like some of these samples, a lot of them, because honestly, I don't know if he's taking this in RAW. He might be, but I actually like the effects that phones put on. I like the vibrant colors versus a DSLR. Like when we travel, I don't typically bring a DSLR. Yes, you're going to get that big optical zoom if you have a zoom lens or whatnot. I believe this does a 5 times optical and 30 times digital. So,
but with what you're about to show is you found that it can actually zoom in quite good now.
Yeah, and I'll show that in a moment.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of samples here that you can go through between this. Now the cool one, actually, I want to show you the dark ones, and then we'll jump over to some of my samples. Sure. So that in the dark here, let's see here. So the left here is the Pixel 7 Pro, and the right is the 5D, Canon 5D. I actually like the photo coming from the Pixel better.
You do,
eh? Canon. Yeah, I do. I like it. It seems darker. Like the light in the Canon, there's more light coming from the lighting in the housing, but it almost looks too much. I like the left shot there better.
It does seem cleaner. It seems less muddled.
Yeah, and the same with this one. Like it seems way sharper than the Canon for the nighttime. Not so much though. There's one here, like the moon is Canon was clearly a better shot.
Yeah.
So, but I mean, you know, these are all the settings he used. Someone else could get totally different results. But here's what I want to show you. I have a couple of videos. So this is a screen recording of my phone taking a shot of a school bus. So right now we're at 1 time zoom. And so I'm going to zoom this into a school bus. You can't even see the school bus down there. So we'll go to 5 times. We'll find the school bus. This is still optical. And now we're going into digital.
Yeah.
But watch what happens after I take the shot. The AI, how it cleans up the photo. It just flips it over and cleans it up.
Yeah.
Which is phenomenal.
Yeah.
Like it does a really good job.
And again, go back again to show how far back you were. Like how zoomed out you were.
Yeah.
All the way back. This is from a phone. Yeah.
Sorry, it's hard to get it to.
Yeah.
So I was that far back.
Yeah.
And then,
so if anybody listening, like how far are you, like a couple kilometers away or something?
No, probably a kilometer, maybe.
Kilometer.
So, yeah.
Still, that's pretty.
The result.
Yeah. Sorry for those in the States, that'd be like half a mile or something. Or
yeah. So here's another one. This is like still quite a ways away on this tree, but the AI is what's really cool. So take the shot.
Yeah.
And you can see the AI kick in, and all of a sudden it clears up the photo.
Yeah.
Which is super cool. So
yeah.
This is another cool. They have a magic erase feature in it. So this photo here, you can see this is actually when I didn't take this photo on this phone, so you can use photos from this phone or from a different phone. My wife actually took this photo when we were visiting you just over a week ago.
Right.
So you can see those guys standing beside the big White Rock. This is in White Rock, and other people there. And you hit the magic eraser, it finds the people for you.
Yeah.
And then you can just delete them. Hit erase all, and they're gone.
And you
Like
can alter history just like that.
Yeah. So like, sure, if you zoom in, you can see that it's blending it and using other backgrounds. So this example works really well, but I'm amazed with that feature.
Yeah.
And then it's got a really good macro mode as well. So I took this in the park as well. So you can get in on the macro, take your photo, and it sharpens it up again and just looks really sharp.
Yeah.
That's just the bark on a tree, but it's really impressive. I'm really happy with it.
So you're seeing, so with this camera, you can have it with you. I know that you do cruises and things and go places. Do you feel like this is a valid option for taking shots of things when you're out on the go? I know you have your GoPro going, but would you use this for certain shots?
Definitely for, like, I don't think I would use anything else for, maybe if I would bring an SLR if I'm trying to like film. I don't know. I don't think I even need to bring an SLR anymore. I think this would take all the photography I would want to do and better than I need it to be.
And again, it's meeting that 90% percentile. It's like that 90% good enough where you don't have to do any editing. It's just going to work and you can make use of it right away.
Yeah, and then the AI just does such a good job cleaning it up. I think the colors are nice and vibrant. So really, really, really happy with.
Now, though, as good as that is, if I was at a wedding and the photographer was using that phone as the wedding camera, I'd still be like, I think you should use the SLR and do the post effects.
I would love to see two professional photographers do the same wedding, and one use an SLR and one use that.
And then people have to guess who used what.
Yeah.
That would be, dude, that sounds like a really good test there.
Like two people do the same photo shoot. Yeah. Anyone out there who's like try and get two shots of the same thing? And I know there's a lot of comparisons, but it'd just be a really cool thing too.
Now, with that said, I think you could do a wedding shoot with the phone if you had to. But I just think at the end of the day, I think someone who really knows lenses and things is just, I think that's still the way to go.
Well, I think that's half the battle is that most people who even buy an SLR or a mirrorless camera just want to push the button and take a picture. Don't have time to
sorry, you're Thomas. Pull up Thomas.
Thomas says the cameraman at my wedding can use the Pixel. I'm like, okay. That's why I started laughing. Wow. No, I totally lost my train of thought. What I was saying is that so many people buy a big SLR or mirrorless camera and don't know how to use all the features or don't have time to use all the features. So you just have it in auto mode. And I will say I'm very much a person who I do all this tech stuff, but I usually just put it in auto mode and push the button just because I don't have time to edit it and do all that and try and keep it simple. And I know a little bit more than others. I'm not an expert necessarily with SLR cameras, but I just want to get it done and take the picture. And so I think this will be a good option for myself and for a lot of people out there.
Right.
So
agreed.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people are like, there's a lot of comparisons to the iPhone 14 Pro out there. It's got some different features than that phone. So I think it'll win in some of the battles and lose in others, but it's a good option, especially if you want a high-end phone in an Android. So yeah. All right. we have a question of the day. Should we dive to that, or did you want to bring up that other topic? Let's bring up the other topic. Okay.
Just quickly.
So this is from Cody. Let me jump over to this.
He shared with us just before he went live this article. So
yeah, so apparently a factory sealed original iPhone sells at auction for like a massive price, way more than the new iPhone 14. So
39,339, I believe, US dollars.
Yeah. So it originally launched at $499. So now it's sold for $39,339. So for a sealed iPhone, that's so the iPhone 2G or the iPhone 1 or original iPhone, it had a few different names. So yeah, I guess not many people bought an iPhone and didn't open it.
Well, I don't even know if we had these. I don't know that we had the first run of iPhones in Canada, did we? It may not have been to the second or third generation.
So when I remember everyone had an iPhone. The first time I remember, I went to a birthday party and everybody had the same iPhone, and it was the iPhone 3GS.
Yeah.
And that's the first time I remember everybody having kind of the same phone and this new tech. So that's the first. I know people had it before that, but that's the first time I remember everybody having the same phone. I had one. A whole bunch of people had it and had just gotten it. Have you had an iPhone? You had an iPod.
I had an iPod Touch.
And you had the Mac as well. You used.
I had a Mac Mini. For a time, I was doing some Mac development and stuff, and needed them.
But you didn't have an iPhone, did you? Or have you used an iPhone?
No. Well, I do have I think an iPhone 3GS left over from someone. I really like the 3GS is actually one of my favorite form factors of like size on a phone.
Okay.
When I hold them, like that and the LG Optimus One. Remember that old cheap LG budget?
Yeah.
A budget LG phone. It was similar size. Like that era of phone felt really good in the hand and was just like, this is all I need in a phone. So I kind of missed that form factor. But yeah, I'm with you. The 3GS seemed to have been really, really popular in Canada. And so I don't know, that might have been the first one that was easily accessible up here.
Yeah, because I switched from a BlackBerry to that.
Yeah.
So a lot of people had BlackBerries, especially here in Canada. They were huge just because a Canadian company and whatnot. So So yeah, that's a lot of money. If you have an unboxed or a sealed old iPhone, you're loaded.
You're loaded.
All right, question of the day. Are you interested in upgrading to Discord Basic? I'll let you answer first, Stephen, and all of you out there can leave a comment or send us a note what your thoughts are.
Before I give you my answer, Ken, what happens at 100 subscribers? What are we looking to do?
Well, at 100 subscribers, we are going to be upgrading to a 1080p stream as long as our internet can handle it for our stream here. So we're going to be upgrading once we hit 100 subscribers on YouTube. And so if you haven't done so already, make sure to hit the subscribe button. And you can also listen to us on your favorite podcasting platform, but that doesn't count towards
the subscriber count on here on YouTube.
On here on YouTube. So, all right. So we already have Cody piping in. Yes, he's going to upgrade.
Was it a yes to Discord, or is that a yes to our 1080p stream?
I'm assuming it's to Discord.
Oh, I was hoping it was for. Okay, well, I work with Cody on stuff, so it would be helpful.
That's Cody That's Cody upgrading, trying to get us to get 100 subscribers.
So as for Discord, I am very much closer. I do want to. I'm debating. So yes, that package does seem appealing. His was yes to Discord. Oh, to Discord, actually. Okay. Hey. That's appealing, but I kind of also want to consider the $4.99 package though. Because that one lets you, there was something else that one let you do. I can't remember at the moment. But I am somebody who needs finds myself with a need for a bigger file transfer size, especially with game development, and I'm sending game packages and things and video trailers to, hey, Cody, check this out, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
So I'm more closer to being on board with a subscription.
Yeah.
How about you?
For myself, it's kind of the same thing.
Emojis, man.
I'm not there yet, but I would consider doing the $2.99 package.
Yeah.
Just for the file transfer alone.
I mean, at the least, to even support a company that does a good job. Like, if you're going to give money to a company, yeah.
No, I agree. We use Discord quite a bit.
Yeah.
So yeah, it might be just for supporting them might be a good option. It's not that expensive. So
yeah.
Yeah. Cool. And Cody says yes as well. So
yes to Discord.
Yes to Discord.
Good.
All right. Well, why don't we wrap the show up there? Unless you have anything else that you'd like to say.
No, I think that's good.
All right.
That's good for this week. It's good to hang out and good to. I'm looking forward to getting more subscribers, people to join along and follow along and pipe in and chat and engage with us. That adds fun to this stream. So I look forward to just more community growing.
Yes, I agree.
Yeah.
So I guess we'll wind it down there. That has been the Tech Chit Chat Show. Again, make sure to subscribe here on YouTube or your favorite platform, and check us out on Spotify. You can watch us there as well, or listen to us on your favorite platform. Thank you so much for watching and listening. And until next time, have a good week. Take care.